Hello everyone, my name is VIDYA Patel and welcome to Munch UK's Facebook Live. Before I begin in telling my story, I thought it would be good to explain a bit more about Munch UK and what it's all about. So Munch UK is a new platform that's been created very quickly and very recently with a team of volunteers, and Munch UK is a platform that brings together South Asian performing artists so that they can share their stories with people. I've definitely been watching over the past few days, and for me I found it really beautiful actually to see such insights onto people's creative stories, which actually I wouldn't get a chance to see otherwise if I go to a theatre. I really wanted to say thank you to Mira Kaushik for letting me be part of this platform, especially as a young artist very early on in my dance career, to be able to talk and express what I've learned in these few days. So hi everyone, great to see you all joining, thank you. I really wanted to express my thanks also to the Munch UK team. It's been such a pleasure actually to be able to work with them and also volunteer part of this team. So the main aim of Munch UK is just to really connect up with people during this time whilst we're in lockdown. So it is, just check the time. Hello everyone, hello Didi. Hi everyone, thank you for joining. So yeah, it is the first time I have done a Facebook Live, so it's very different for me. I'm in my home. I'm currently in Birmingham, in Handsworth, and I'm in lockdown with my mom and dad. They're currently downstairs. I thought I'd try and do this with some stands and stuff that my sisters have helped me put together. But yeah, my name is Vidya Patel. I'm a dance artist based in Birmingham. I have a training background in Kathak and learned from my wonderful Guruji, Sujata Didi, hello. And she's a wonderfully inspiring teacher, guru, mentor, and also a friend that has somehow come into my life and really affected so many things that I do. But I'll be talking a lot more about Didi shortly. What I did want to speak about was, during this time actually I've been thinking a lot about my childhood and how that's actually affected the way my parents have brought me up in this country as a British Asian. So actually my mom was born in Mumbai in India. She grew up there and then came to Birmingham through her marriage, and then my dad was born in Africa in Kampala, Uganda, and he had come here when he was 12 years old. So they both had a very different upbringing, which was away from the UK and Britain. And when they had myself and my two older sisters, they did a few things that could try and keep the culture and heritage within us alive. And a few things that we used to do was go to Gujarati school a lot, and that was on the weekends. My mom used to also teach Gujarati. We went to a lot of the community events that took place in the temples and the mandirs, and we also went to Indian classical dance lessons, and that was through early association that my dad had. This was way before he even got married actually. He had come into contact with Pyali Ray in Birmingham. Hello Pyali auntie if you're listening. But she had come over from India with her husband Niltu uncle, and my dad also had met them, and during that time he was helping them a lot with touring and also sorting accommodation for different companies. So his whole world of arts and culture also was maximized by this association. So when we were born, he also knew that, okay, Chitraji is someone that he can send us to. So at that point I didn't actually dance. It was my two older sisters, so I would go to class on the weekends. My mom would take three of us, and hello Jitaji if you're watching, we would all join in, and I would be watching from the sides. And one thing that I really take from Jitaji's classes was the atmosphere that she created. Every weekend throughout the days, like there were different groups that she taught, and my sisters and their friends were people that I really sort of looked up to when I was younger. So I really wanted to be involved, and I apparently cried to be able to be enrolled into the classes. And that's when, at the age of 3, I started doing Bharatanatyam. So I also took part in summer schools that Jitaji was teaching, and then whenever there was a chance to do a small performance, I took part in that. But my first ever exposure to Indian classical dance was through Bharatanatyam with Jitaji, and seeing my sisters. And something about that group was really special because there were amazing dancers that used to go to Jitaji's classes there. Hello everyone, Jitaji's classes. So there was Akash Odedra part of the group, Leena Patel, Jyoti, Lata Pravana. So all of them, they were such beautiful dancers. And as a little girl, I used to watch them perform their Arangetrams that Jitaji would organize. So there was this aspiration of really wanting to be part of something when I was really young and wasn't able to do it because of my age. So that was really the first sort of insight into Indian classical dance for me. But then after that, it was, we had my first actually insight into Kathak was with Anurekhaji. So Anurekhaji had come from Kolkata and was based in Birmingham then. So around this time, I think it was in 1999, my parents had bought a building down our road, which for me and my sisters was also another entity that was part of our lives, because both our parents would open it up early in the morning, and then in the evenings, late at night, they'd have to go and then shut it again, and there'd be different events happening there. Every Thursday we'd have bhajans and devotional singing taking place, and a lot of people would use the hall for different things, whether it's an after school activity or a community event. There was a lot going on in the building that my parents owned, and a few of the activities that took place was Kathak classes. So Anurekhaji was teaching us then, and I was again 3-4 years old, so I used to be part of those classes, and then whenever I could go to Jitaji's classes as well. So that was our early exposure to Indian classical dance. And alongside that, we got to go to different performances that took place at Sampad. There were loads of companies coming, so Dhanushi Shankarji's company would come and would watch them. I remember as a little girl also just seeing another dance form from India that was so energetic, with influences from Indian classical dance, but actually of Uday Shankar technique. It was another form of Indian classical dance that I grew to love, and still even now whenever I go to India, this time I went recently and also went to Dhanushi Shankarji's school to just learn a bit more, because it's such a beautiful style that I really do hope to continue. So we used to do a lot of other things as well. The other interest that I had when I was growing up was football. I used to love going football. I used to go to karate. I went to basketball club. I went to hockey. But one of the main ones with my cousin sister that I used to go, hello Shreya if you're watching, we used to go to a cricket club. So on Saturdays we would go training in the morning, and then we'd go training in the evening, and then sometimes on Wednesdays we'd have maybe matches that would take place. So me and my cousin, we were actually the few girls that were part of the club. So I took it quite seriously. I used to love going to cricket, and it was quite exhilarating. So I used to love dance, but then I used to love sport as well. I think not so much in school. I kind of didn't like PE at school, but the out of school activities I used to really enjoy. So cricket was one of them. And there came a point that my dad just sat me down and was like, Vidya, what do you really want to do? Do you want to do cricket or do you want to do dance? And then I had to make a really hard choice of, there's these two things that I really like, which one should I do? So it ended up being dance, and then I just continued with that. And then my sisters set up a small company in Birmingham, and that was really fun. It was an independent company. They used to teach semi-classical dance and choreograph dances that we used to perform around Birmingham, and it was actually just for the enjoyment of dance. My sisters and their friends would get together and we performed so much. So at that time we weren't actually training then in Indian classical dance. We had to sort of take a break. My grandmother was ill, so we eventually stopped going to classes, and then eventually we didn't go back to Bharatanatyam classes, but then there was this creative dance that we used to do a lot and just really enjoy it as well. So that used to be a lot of fun, and I think I really got a lot of performance experience from dancing with my sisters, who have been hugely supportive of everything that I do right now, and actually were my dance idols to begin with. So yeah, we used to do a lot of creative dance, and then soon after that we came across Sonia Ji in Birmingham, who had learnt from Nahid Ji, and we were really inspired when we went to watch her perform. So we, all three of us, started Indian classical dance again. We started learning from Sonia Ji, who used to take classes in Birmingham at Midlands Art Centre. And something about her style that she taught was the real fluidity and grace, and I really thank her for being able to teach us that. And when I was about 12, she had given me this leaflet. It was for the Centre for Advanced Dance Training. So across the UK, there's different regions that have CAT, which is the abbreviated term, and CAT is a place where young dancers can get together and they have extra training in the holidays. So I went, it was an audition process. So being like 12 years old, I went to this audition. I was like, oh gosh, what's going to happen here? We had an interview. We had to do some movement so they could see how we dance. And then it was successful. And then I went on the first day, and I knew that our subject tutor was going to be Sujata Banerjee. It was written. I was like, oh, I better go on YouTube and find out who this person is. And I also had heard of Didi, but then I hadn't ever seen her as well. So I was like, okay, let's see. And then I went, and Didi, gosh, her energy on that first day that I met her, it was so contagious. There was something about her energy that I just felt like I just needed to be with her all the time. So CAT for me was a beautiful another side to get into Indian classical dance. So I had my home tutor, which was Sonia Ji, and then at CAT I had my subject tutor, which was Sujata Didi. And through CAT we also had, there was also a Bharatanatyam strand. So in Birmingham, the CAT was a national program where South Asian dancers could get together, and luckily it was just very like 10 minutes away from me. So I was seeing Didi regularly during the holidays on these residentials, met some beautiful dancers. Jaina Madasi, who I'm still friends with, there's Krishnali, Sonam, from the Bharatanatyam group, Sejal, Maya, and there was such a warm sense of community there as young dancers, that we'd learn from one another, that would help each other. I definitely needed quite a bit of help when I went. Everyone had learned lots of dals, and for me it was just a beautiful program to be part of. The people that were there that really wanted to see young people grow, it was really something. And for me then, my parents also had the building, and financially also they allowed a bursary which they could give for students to continue their training. So that was a program that really sort of helped me a lot and gave me some encouragement through the people that were connected through it. And there were a lot of guest artists that came to teach us as well. So I think that program for me was really influential in making me want to take dance as a profession. Also, it was massive shaping opportunity when I had met Didi also, who is now currently my full-time Kathak teacher as well. So yeah, CAT was amazing. And then in my last year of CAT, Didi sat down with Louise O'Hanlon, who was there at Dance Exchange during that time, and they both discussed the opportunity of me going to Kolkata. And I was like, gosh, is this even possible? They were like, yeah, you've got some bursary left. Maybe you can go to Calcutta and do some training. So then I was like, all right, this seems quite good. Didi was like, well, you're welcome to stay at my accommodation, so that will be a cost that you don't have to pay for, which was so generous of her. And also she had put me in touch with colleagues of hers. There was Luna ji and there was Sandeep ji, so Sandeep Malik and Luna Bodar, who are from Kolkata. And she was like, you go there and you just learn from them and come back. So it was a 3 weeks trip. She was like, go with your mom, you can stay in my apartment. So my mom came with me. My grandma, who lives in India, had also joined, so my mom had some company, and then my cousin brother from India had also come, so there was sort of a security person, a male figure there with us. So we went to Calcutta, didn't know a word of Bengali, but we just went, and this trip, I think, when I came back from it, I was just super energized with the amount of dedication that all the students had. Also, that feeling of not knowing, I couldn't grasp things very quickly. So that feeling of not knowing wanted me to work even harder to try and do something when I got back. And also just to see the sheer amount of passion and the endless journey of what there is. I was so inspired by the dancers there. There was Arshia and there was also Madhuka. And one thing that I had learnt there was actually a piece that was to be performed for the graduation program, and that piece was a Tarana. And little did I know that I'd be performing that Tarana so much after. But yeah, I just wanted to show you all this Tarana. You may have seen it before, you may have not, but this is what I had learnt in Calcutta when I had gone. So I will put on the music, hopefully it works. But yeah, it was an amazing trip, and I really have Didi to thank for, and also Kat for allowing me to have that opportunity. everyone. Just gonna get some water. Whew. Oh. It's very strange doing a performance in your room to an audience on a phone. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching. Sorry for the mistakes as well. It's interesting to be in this space. Feel very privileged to be able to have this room and move around in it. Past few days we have been moving sort of furniture about to make this possible as well. So yeah, that was the Tirana, and the sun is shining now. I'm just gonna move the angle. Ooh, okay. That's gonna have to do. So yeah, that was the Tirana that I learned, and Ashia, Luna Ji, they had taught me that, and then I came back and Didi had refined it for the graduation at CAT. And little did I know, actually, that year I was taking a gap year, and it was a really lucky coincidence. So this was in 2014 that actually the BBC were doing a competition, and I thought, okay, let's just apply for it. Maybe something will come of it. But I applied, got through, and had the support of Didi to really help me and guide me through that, because it was a process that you needed to be a solo dancer, and up till then, up till my CAT performance, I hadn't really done solo performance before. So it was a special piece for me because it was ready and I could use that during any of the rounds. So I applied for BBC and got through, and every round actually for me it really helped my confidence. So it made me sort of dedicated to my practice more. Before that I was dedicated to practice, but I think this opportunity of really knowing that whatever hard work you put in, there could be a potential result at the end of it, was quite motivating for me. And also to have the support of Didi and my family, they play a huge support, and also Dance Exchange had really helped me with studio space. So Kavita, Zara, if you're watching, thank you for supporting me during that time. So yeah, so I did BBC and got through, and that whole competition has really opened doors for me in my dance journey, and I couldn't have imagined anything like that happening. Some people ask, do you think you would have gone into dance if you hadn't done BBC Young Dancer? And I think yes, I still would have continued, but I think BBC Young Dancer really acted as a catalyst in sort of opening my world to contemporary dance as well, other beautiful dancers who trained in other art forms. So it was really eye-opening for me to see a wider picture. Just get my breath back. But I was thinking about BBC Young Dancer, and it's probably been 5 years since that happened. And everyone who was involved, it's one of the things that I do think back, and today was just taken aback and overwhelmed by that thought as well, was that platform that allowed South Asian dance to be part of a mix that was contemporary hip-hop and ballet, and then South Asian dance was part of that. I was so lucky to be in a position where I didn't have to explain to anyone what Indian classical dance was, or where do you come from sort of thing. People already knew that because of all the work that had already been done by so many Indian classical dancers that had come before me, probably even before I was born. So thank you so much to the whole of the South Asian dance sector who has really built up that structure to allow like forms like BBC to even say like South Asian dance is part of the British Asian dance scene. So I think that platform, I have so many people to thank for even allowing that. But for me, it allowed me to see other dancers. I loved watching every single art form in there, and I was just like super motivated and charged up by this. During that process, I got to work really closely with Sujata Didi. She was creating different solos. We also had the opportunity to suggest maybe this is what we would like. So this was something that I hadn't really done before, because normally we would do like group pieces together. So for me, the competition allowed that, and then also different collaborations. So I was a huge fan of Shami VIDYA. Hello Shami, if you're watching. But he is a multi-talented instrumentalist and a composer, and I was listening to his music a lot for a few years actually, and during that competition I was watching a lot of his videos, and I thought maybe if for the duet I could contact him, maybe he might be up for doing it. And then actually he said yes. And I'm just looking at the time and realised close to 6:30. But yeah, so it was wonderful that Shami was on board. I got to meet Connor, who is part of there, and it allowed a whole new world into contemporary dance. So I later went on to work with Gary Clark. Hi Gary, if you're watching, who has totally nurtured me in my dance form, and also Richard Alston, which was a huge platform for me. I had never worked with contemporary dancers or gone into a place where professional dancers were dancing. So just to see them, each and every one of them has been an influence to my dance journey. And also now I've been working with Hitain Patel, who has really been making me look at dance and form and even Indian classical dance in a different way. But there's so many people that have been part of this journey. Miraji, even getting me on to be part of the troth at such a sort of early age, and just really taking that risk and also having trust to be like, yeah, she can possibly do this. And with that, for me, comes big responsibility of delivering. And each time it may be that it can seem easy being a dancer or being in the arts, but actually what I have learned is required is super perseverance of just keeping on going and motivating yourself and finding people to work with and surrounding yourself with people who you really look up to and can learn from. I've definitely learned a lot from the people that I've worked with, and it's been fun, adventurous, and at times when maybe I'm working by myself, it's been challenging as well. This last year actually I went to Pune and met a whole bunch of amazing musicians, and I was training out there with Guruji Tal Yogi Suresh Talwarkar that was actually introduced to me through Didi and Ashwini ji. And what is amazing about Didi is that regardless of her being my guru, she allows the opportunities of going to other places and learning. So I had gone, and that's been a tremendous thing that's shaping my journey right now, to see what other things I can do with Kathak, and also seeing how I can choreograph and still continue performing and continuing my practice. So there's lots of amazing things that can be done through dance. So I hope people really learn to love movement and go to the arts as a way to find joy. It definitely does for me. So thank you very much, everyone. The time has gone so quickly, and it's gone very, very fast. I just want to say thank you very much for everyone who has helped me, continues to be a wonderful community, and all the dancers that are part of it, all the creatives that are part of it, and also platforms like Munch UK who are keeping us all connected during this time. So thank you very much. Tomorrow we continue with Stella Oppo, who will be also sharing her creative journey with you all. So thank you very much for joining this live. I hope to be able to share and continue dancing and performing, and any questions that you have I will be answering later on through Munch UK. So thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely Friday.